And we go to Seattle to speak with Larry Johnson, the former foreign editor of the Seattle Post-Intelligencer, who worked with Dorothy Parvaz for 10 years. Larry, let's begin with you. Tell us who Dorothy Parvaz is.
Well, Dorothy is a very hard-hitting journalist. She's very smart, very dedicated to her work. She sees journalism as a force for good in the world, and so that's who she is.
How did she come to the Seattle Post-Intelligencer a decade ago?
Well, she had been working for the Seattle Times, actually, and then, I believe, on an internship, and then took the job with us as a features writer, and then she moved through various positions at the Seattle Post-Intelligencer, and when she left, she was an opinion page writer. She left for the Nieman Fellowship.
Talk about the kind of reporting she did while at the Seattle PI, and particularly, for example, her work in Iran.
Well, she did a lot of good work at the PI, always with a lot of intelligence and wit. She always stuck up for the underdog. She was very concerned with social justice. And being from Iran, she wanted to go back home and report on the situation there, which she finally did, I believe, in 2004. And she sent back a series of very good reports on just general life in Iran, trying to make Iran more open to the West.
Larry Johnson, talk about your own experience being held captive. In your case, it was Colombia?
It was, and you know, I should point out that it was a very different time, a very different situation. This was more than about 30 years ago, and I was a freelancer, and I was covering armed revolutionaries, and I'd been in the country for about 4 months covering those groups when I was arrested. And so I was treated pretty much as a supporter of the armed revolutionaries, which was a whole different situation. However, the lesson that is the same as in Dorothy's case was that I was released after a letter campaign, telegrams, calls to the Colombian president and to our State Department that grew and grew over a few days until there were hundreds of telegrams coming in daily to the president's office in Colombia. And they realized that I was indeed a journalist, not a revolutionary, and so they released me. And so I see that as a good thing for Dorothy. We have the Facebook campaign, a Twitter campaign. We're calling the State Department. We're calling the White House. And I hope she'll be free soon.
Well, talk about this campaign. Dorothy's unusual. She is a U.S. citizen, a Canadian citizen, an Iranian citizen. You're working both in Seattle and also in Vancouver, where her family is?
That's correct. We're trying to coordinate it more now. In the beginning, it was just her friends, her colleagues, relatives, all doing things, whatever they could, to get the word out and to contact members of their local legislators. Now it's more organized, but and it's spread all over the world. She has friends in Ireland, in England, in the Middle East. So everyone is contacting the local Syrian embassy or consulate. They're talking to their governments. And the Facebook campaign has really grown enormously in just a week. Well, it's been 10 days now. It now has about 10,000 people following the Facebook page. And that's where you can go and get information on who to contact and what the latest news is.